Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're venturing into some Gothic territory, really digging into Bram Stoker's Dracula.
A classic.
Absolutely. And our mission, especially for you listening, is to unpack the crucial facts, maybe some surprising insights, and understand why this novel is still so relevant. We're drawing from Dracula, Gothic, de Bekaten Olumsuz Merasa, to guide us. So we want to go beyond just, the plot summary and really get why it still gives us the chills.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, to really get Dracula, I think we need context. We need to set the scene.
Yeah.
What was the world like when Stoker actually wrote this?
Well, that's a great place to start, and it's something the source material really emphasizes. Stoker's writing this in the late 19th century.
Right.
And it's this fascinating period, a real crossroads. You've got Victorian society kind of wrestling with huge scientific leaps forward on one side.
Okay.
But also holding on to these deep-seated fears about the unknown, about foreigners, even fears about, well, society itself sort of decaying.
So progress and anxiety side by side.
Exactly. And that tension, that was perfect soil for the Gothic literary tradition. Horror, death, the sublime, those crumbling castles. Stoker just tapped right into that whole feeling.
That makes sense. He's channeling the vibe of the times. So how does that translate into the story itself? For anyone who maybe hasn't read it or hasn't read it in a while, what's the basic setup? Give us the spoiler-free version.
Okay, spoiler-free. At its core, the story just throws you in with Jonathan Harker. He's a young English solicitor.
Right, the lawyer.
Yeah, and he travels to this really remote castle way out in Transylvania. He's there to finalize a property deal with Count Dracula.
Sounds normal enough to start.
It does. And the source really highlights how Stoker builds this. What seems like a standard business trip, well, it quickly spirals. It becomes this chilling nightmare as Harker starts to figure out who or what the Count really is.
Ah, the reveal.
And his plans, these sinister plans to move his ancient evil to England, to London.
Oh.
Then the story shifts perspective, following Dracula's arrival and how he starts preying on people, pulling this unsuspecting Victorian world into a desperate fight for survival against something unholy.
That initial journey going from business contracts to sheer terror is so effective. You feel that dread creeping in immediately.
Absolutely.
And it's the characters who really carry that weight, isn't it? Who are the main players Stoker introduces us to in this drama?
Oh, the cast is memorable, for sure. And each plays a really distinct part, which the source points out. Obviously, you have Count Dracula.
The man himself.
The ancient aristocratic vampire. He's the invader, the predator, the other.
Okay.
Then there's Jonathan Harker, our initial viewpoint character, the rational guy plunged into horror.
Yeah.
His fiancée, Mina Harker, she's presented as incredibly intelligent, resilient. She becomes like the strategic brain of the group fighting back.
She's crucial then.
Very. Then her friend, Lucy Westenara. She represents maybe innocence, vulnerability. She tragically falls victim pretty early on.
Right.
You also have Dr. Seward. He runs an asylum, a man of science. He really struggles at first to reconcile what he knows empirically with vampires.
Your rational mind hitting a wall.
Precisely. And finally, the expert, Professor Van Helsing. He's this Dutch doctor, knows about the occult. The source calls him the master key, basically.
Ah, the one who knows what's going on.
Yeah, he brings the folklore, the supernatural knowledge needed to even understand the threat, let alone fight it.
That's quite a lineup, a mix of science, tradition, terror. So, if we step back from the plot and the people, what bigger ideas is Stoker exploring here? What are the themes that make Dracula more than just a scary story?
That's where it gets really fascinating. And Dracula, Gothic Edebiaten Olumsuz Mercy, does a great job dissecting these layers. A huge one it highlights is just fear of the unknown.
Primal stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
Stoker taps into those basic human anxieties about what's out there, beyond our grasp, especially as old superstitions were clashing with new scientific thinking.
That tension you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. Which leads right into another theme. Superstition versus modern science. You see these rational characters forced to confront things that just defy explanation. Science hits its limit.
Like Dr. Seward.
Like Seward, yeah.
Yeah.
And the source points out how Dracula himself kind of embodies Victorian anxieties about their whole social order crumbling, this ancient darkness invading their modern, supposedly ordered world.
I can definitely see that. That clash, the fear, it still feels relevant.
It really does. And woven into all that, the source material really digs into sexuality and repression.
The Victorian aspect.
Oh, yeah. The vampire's bite, the seduction, the sensuality that often surrounds it. It's all pushing against the strict social constraints of the time. There's this powerful undercurrent of forbidden desire, taboo.
So it's not just physical danger.
No, it's a moral threat, a psychological one too.
Good.
And look, at its heart, it is a battle of good versus evil, pretty clearly drawn. But the source also analyzes Dracula as the outsider figure. He's not just foreign. He represents everything that's other. He's sexually ambiguous or transgressive. He defies Christian beliefs. He's ancient. He's basically an existential threat to that comfortable Victorian self-image.
That's a really powerful way to look at him. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. The way Stoker tells this story, it's unique, isn't it? It's not just a narrator telling us what happened.
No, not at all. It's technically brilliant, and the source really emphasizes this. Stoker uses an epistolary narrative style.
Epistolary, meaning letters.
Letters, yes, but also personal diary entries, ship's logs, newspaper clippings, telegrams, even transcripts from phonograph recordings. The whole novel is built from these fragmented documents.
So as a reader, you're kind of assembling the story yourself from the evidence, like putting together a case file.
Exactly. You've nailed it. And this multi-perspective thing, it's not just fancy footwork. Dracula, Gothic Edebiaten de Lunsus Mirasi argues it's absolutely crucial for building suspense and that feeling of dread.
How so?
Well, because you're getting the story filtered through these different viewpoints, often characters who are terrified or confuse themselves, it makes the unbelievable seem incredibly plausible, almost real.
Right, because you're experiencing it with them.
Precisely. You feel their escalating horror through their own words. It's a masterclass in creating psychological tension.
That makes total sense. It really draws you in. Okay, so clearly this book wasn't just a flash in the pan. It's stuck around. Let's talk about its legacy. If we look at the bigger picture, Dracula's influences...
Oh, it's massive.
Right.
It's immense. Truly global. And your source does a great job tracing this. See, Dracula didn't just tell a vampire story.
Yeah.
It basically codified the modern vampire mythos.
Codified, meaning it set the rules?
Pretty much, yeah. Before Stoker, vampire folklore was all over the place. Different regions, different creatures, different rules. After Dracula, that specific image, the aristocratic, seductive, blood-drinking, shape-shifting count that became the dominant image, the default vampire we all think of.
Wow. So the picture of a vampire most people have in their head comes largely from this one novel.
To a huge extent, yes. And Dracula, Gothic Edebiaten Olumsus Mirasha, details how this image then just spread everywhere. Popular culture soaked it up.
Like in the movies.
Absolutely. Think of the Bela Lugosi film, Iconic. That look defined the vampire for generations. But it goes way beyond that. Modern TV shows, video games, comics, graphic novels, endless books.
It really is everywhere.
It's a true cornerstone of horror fantasy.
Yeah.
It just shows how one single work can fundamentally reshape a genre and capture our collective imagination for, well, centuries now.
And it keeps doing it. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Stoker's Dracula, maybe here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Why? Why are we still so captivated by the dark, by the unknown, by figures like Dracula? What is it about this classic story, born in the late 19th century, but analyzed so well by sources like the one we use today, that continues to reflect or maybe challenge our own deepest fears and desires, even now? It's definitely something worth sinking your teeth into.